This is the Eclectic Discussion Podcast.
Well, we're moving on now to the east side.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for downloading and streaming the Eclectic Discussion Podcast. I'm Eclectic. What we're doing now, we talked about a lot of the 70s, early 80s sitcoms, and we're going to keep it going with the Jeffersons. Jefferson's another show. I don't have to give you much about the premise of the characters, but I will anyway. Plus, I've done all these other shows. I did, what I do? What's Happening? We got What's Happening off. We got Good Times. But anyway, Jefferson's spinoff of All in the Family. They had Henry Jefferson, which is George's younger brother on there. And he never appeared or was brought up on the Jeffersons, but that was the thing. Also, everyone who played the Willis and Jenny were not the same who appeared on All in the Family. And the only reason the Jeffersons were successful was because the Black Panthers visited the creator of the show's office to complain that he always got the blacks being poor on the shows, because he also did Good Times in there, and it was like, yo, everybody's always poor, and the Black Panthers, most of them, man. So, like, all right, they're gonna be rich. Anyway, Jeffersons left All in the Family, and that was in Queens. They moved on up. See what I did there? They moved on up to Manhattan because, okay. So George Jefferson had a dry cleaning spot because he got hit by a bus and sued and won enough money to open it up. Then he made enough to franchise it, so they had enough money coming in to bounce. Aha. Then Walona from Good Times, Janae Dubois, sang and co-wrote the theme song. You didn't know that. All right, so you had George, the main character, the laundromat owner, Louise, or Weezy, the wife, who did just about nothing. She's nowhere near as bad as Florida Evans, but she did, close. But she did nothing, no job, no friends except for the ones in the building. So she had no job. She had no 9 to 5, went nowhere, and still hired a maid. A live-in maid. But anyway, she asked George to let her work in the cleaners. He said no. And she ended up working at like a rival cleaners. An asshole. But that didn't last. Then you had Lionel Jefferson, who was played by 3 people. The first guy was Mike Evans, who left because he wanted to write for Good Times because he created it, or co-created it, whatever you want to say. So they replaced him with Damon Evans, who was whack, and then Mike Evans came back. I think he came back after Good Times was canceled. I don't remember. But yeah, so it was Mike Evans, then Damon Evans, and then Mike Evans. They weren't related. Damon was terrible. So then you had Helen Willis, was played by Kim Hamilton on All in the Family. But then when you got to the real show, The Jeffersons, she was played by Roxy Roker, who is Lenny Kravitz's mother. She, like Louise, did nothing. Then you had Tom. Tom was Helen's husband, the big white guy. And it was a whole thing that they were an interracial couple. He was a writer. He had a publishing company. So they had 2 kids. But anyone who remembers the show only remembers one. So they had Jenny, the black girl, who eventually married Lionel. But they also had a son, Alan, who just happened to turn out to be white. So he was on the show. And Jenny didn't like him because he was white and she was black. She was wondering why she ended up being black, and boy, she didn't really like it. He went to Paris, blah blah blah. Then they fired the actor, and he was written out the show. So he was there. He was there. Now you have Mother Jefferson. She was the star of every scene she was in. Whenever Mother Jefferson was on set, it was her show.
These mustard green sandwiches are delicious.
Not greens, dear, watercress. Rich people eat them all the time. Louise, we're running low on watercress sandwiches.
Come in, Your Majesty.
She treats me like a queen.
This ought to hold you for the next 5 minutes.
That was George's mother, sarcastic as hell. At least to Weezy. She didn't like her at all. She was nice to everyone else. Everybody else, she was sweet. And then as soon as they left the room and turned around, she'd give Louise one. She didn't think Weezy was good enough for George. And she was right. She also stayed drinking. Bloody Marys. Bloody Marys was her joints. Mother Jefferson was all right. So then you have Florence, the maid, Marla Gibbs, the laziest maid in maid history. She couldn't cook. She didn't like to clean. She barely cleaned and always backtalked George. And he didn't fire her because of do-nothing Weezy.
Doorbell! Will somebody get the door?
Will somebody get the door? Will somebody get the door, Florence?
I wish you'd make up your mind. Either you want dinner or you want doors. Because if you want both, you'll want another maid.
Hello, Florence.
Hello, Mrs. Jefferson. They're in the bedroom.
Would you tell them I'm here, please?
She's here.
That's the only reason why I get rid of her. Because Weezy had no friends. And that's what that was. They tried a spin-off. They tried to spin her off into her own show called Checking In. It was Checking In. It was about Florence. She was going to have a hotel or something. Then she left for a little bit. They brought her right back. It's like, nope. That show didn't work. Then you had Bentley. Bentley stayed next door at the end of the hall. You go out the door and make a left. He was at the end of the hall. He used to walk on... No. George used to walk on his back to help with spasms.
I'm your next door neighbor, actually.
Louise is Mr. Actually.
That's jolly good. Now, I'm Harry Bentley.
Hi, we're the Jeffersons. Come in, Mr. Bentley.
How do you do? A lovely apartment, this.
George, move.
Let me guess, Mr. Jefferson, you must be 10 stone.
Did you say I was stoned?
I don't think so.
I am sorry. I keep forgetting to speak American.
That's it? You're English, aren't you?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Actually, I was trying to guess your weight. 10 stone is 140 pounds.
Well, I weigh 145.
Smashing. It couldn't be better. Do me a little favor, will you?
What kind of favor?
Take a little walk on the small of my back, would you?
Say what?
And please take your shoes off first. There's a good fellow.
Well, you wanted to move up to the east side. Take a walk.
And he always had a story about England. He was from England. I think he was a foreign language translator. He was a translator. Then you had the doorman, Ralph. And I think that's about it. You end up having baby Jessica. That was her name, but... So the main jokes on the show started out about Tom being white and being married to Helen. Used to call them zebras and everything. But then eventually George and Tom got cool. So then the jokes was just about Tom being fat. So it just replaced all the interracial stuff.
George, why do we have to fight so much? If we have a problem, why can't we just talk it through like Tom and Helen? They don't fight.
They don't fight because they're scared to fight.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know damn well what it means. If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigga.
He said it.
They used the N-word on the show a lot. On national TV. Used it a lot. More than they did on All in the Family, believe it or not.
Now, calm down. It's not worth breaking up over Crazy George.
Hey! Who you calling crazy, honky?
Don't call me honky.
Why are you so sensitive all of a sudden?
He's not the only one.
How would you like it if I called you nigger?
You call me nigga.
That's no worse than honky.
You're right. Nothing's worse than honky except being married to one.
Some good episodes. George had an ulcer, so everyone tried to make him not be mad and go off. They couldn't do it. Helen got mugged. They had the one when the girl showed up and said she was Louise's daughter, but somehow Weezy didn't know. How do you... I never understood that. Like, hey, I'm your daughter. Oh, you might be. Bitch, then you have the fucking kid.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Are you Mrs. Jefferson?
Yes.
You're very pretty.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm Gail Bryant.
Oh, yes, Mr. Bentley told us about you. Won't you come in, Miss Bryant?
Mrs.
I'm sorry. This is my husband. George, this is Mrs. Bryant.
Hi. What can we do for you?
Mrs. Jefferson, did you once live on 135th in Amsterdam?
Yes.
And was your maiden name Louise Mills?
Yes, it was.
That's wonderful.
What are you, the CIA or something?
No, you see,
Well, you wouldn't be a lawyer, would you?
No, but I work in a lawyer's office.
That's it. Weezy, we're in luck. Maybe one of your relatives died and left us some dough.
No, it's nothing like that.
Then what's this all about?
Well, this is kind of personal between your wife and me.
Oh, you can talk in front of George. He's a friend of the family.
Oh, okay. Now that I'm here, I don't know how to say it.
Say what?
You're my mother.
What?
Mama!
Mrs. Bryant, there must be some mistake.
Oh, no, there isn't. I'm your daughter.
What is this, some kind of con game? You looking for some money or something?
Oh, no. I don't want anything from you. I just wanted to find my mother.
Then you better buy yourself some glasses and look someplace else, because she ain't here.
Mother Jefferson faked like she fell and made Weezy pamper her. She didn't fall.
Mama! What are you doing?
Oh, my.
You were walking.
It's a miracle. Suddenly, I was healed.
All right, ladies, time to go.
Why, I'm not finished with our meeting.
The meeting is adjourned. Time to go. Bye.
Just a minute.
Come on, let's go.
Next time, say it's your heart, dear. They never can tell with the heart.
It's terrible. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. Don't take nothing that ain't yours.
What's the matter? What's going on?
I just saw Mama walking. That's what's going on.
What?
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with her.
You mean you didn't hurt yourself when you fell?
I didn't fall. I only made believe.
You faked that, too? You hear that, Weezy?
Now, George.
Now, George, nothing.
They stole George's laundry van when he went back to Harlem. And Benson, TV's Benson and Raj from What's Happening, they was on that one. Louis Gossett Jr. played one of George's friends from the Navy, and he started flirting with Weezy, of all people.
That a no means a yes.
None in this house
Hey, Mama, what are you doing?
You know what your best friend was doing? He was getting fresh.
He what? You are sick. Making a pass at my mama.
Now, wait a minute, George. It was me he was making passes at.
At you, Weezy?
Why is that so hard to believe?
It ain't hard to believe. Nigga, you got to be crazy.
Listen, she was not the look. Florida Evans and Louise Jefferson, man, if there was some representation on TV in the 70s. They did not shoot for, oh, we gonna get all the guys to tune in to this show. They did not. But anyway, the one where George got trapped in the bathroom with Tom and Helen. That was funny. George was sneaking to open another cleaner's and let Weezy think he was cheating on her instead of telling her the truth because she didn't want him to open up. Yo, when you would rather have your wife think you cheating on her. Weezy got kidnapped once. That was great. The one where George's old friend from the Navy, Eddie, showed up, and he was trans. This was like 79. Dude was transgender in 79. It was like, yo, my man Eddie gonna show up, and old girl showed up. Yeah, that happened. 79 though, and Weezy and Louise took Naked Sketchman. They did what's this shit? Paint and sip. They did a paint and sip. He had a dream that it was 1996. It was an episode. George had a dream it was 1996, and let me tell you, it was way off. I was around in 96, and that 96 was not 96. And that episode was like in 1980. Yeah, that was way off. George found out that his mother and one of his friends' mother used to get it popping. Mother Jefferson used to be wild in the streets. Then they had one where George was amping it. He tried to hide it from his wife. The Killer Rabbit one, where it was the costume party and somebody dressed up as a rabbit and killed somebody, and then they were all gonna kill Weezy or some shit. George and Tom attended a KKK meeting by accident, and then the KKK leader guy had a heart attack, and George saved him with CPR, and they didn't know what to do. It was like, damn, the CPR in the mouth, and there's black and the white. So that thing happened. George and Weezy both broke their leg and rang the bell for Florence to come wait on them. And of course, when George got stabbed and left for dead by the all-girl street gang, and because he was out and they stole Weezy's wedding ring, and he was determined to get it back. They stabbed him. Somehow he went to the hospital somehow, or he made it back home. Anyway, he found the gang's hideout, and it didn't work. They was about to kill him, but the leader of the girl gang was pregnant, and George helped her deliver the baby, and she gave him back the ring. There's some wild things on this show. But yeah, Lionel and Jenny always had problems, and Helen and Louise, they stopped talking, and I think Jenny and Lionel eventually divorced, and they had Jessica, and Jessica was cool, but by the end, meh. A lot of guest stars on the joint. You had Sammy Davis Jr., Famous Amos. He had no cookies on there, but he was on there. Gladys Knight, Shirley Ralph, Michael Spinks. Jaleel White was on the Jeffersons. Urkel was on the Jeffersons. it wasn't Urkel, but Jaleel White was on there. Billy D. Williams, Lando. Gary Coleman was on there. He played it. He played Raymond, George's nephew. Mabel King from The Wiz and What's Happening, and Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson was on there. What else? Then on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, George and Weezy showed up to. They were gonna buy the Banks house. Uncle Phil was gonna sell the house, and George and Weezy showed up, and they were about to buy that joint. So, also funny.
And this is the living room.
Come on, shake a leg. We got to get rid of that Universal tour and see the backdraft ride.
Oh, then you should probably leave now before the fire goes out.
Oh, believe me, Will, the fire went out a long time ago. Oh, George, this place is beautiful.
I'm telling you, Weezy, we can't afford it.
How can you say that?
Easy, he's cheap.
If I were you, I'd keep my mouth shut. Out here, there are a lot of people crossing the border to get a job like yours.
Well, one look at a bald-headed miser like you, they'll be crossing right back over.
I'm telling you, Weezy, it's too expensive.
Oh, loosen up, George. I like it.
Oh, yeah, and let me tell you, next door, ooh, the girls, man, bikinis, all that. They got a regular Playboy mansion jumping off over there. Memorial Day, it all comes off. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, boy?
Come on, George. This place is too expensive.
It all comes off, huh?
George!
Anyway, the Jeffersons was all right, man. If you're new and never watched any episodes, I say go and check some out. And if you were outside, you know what it is. But maybe you want to hit YouTube and go reminisce a little bit. The George Jefferson walk, strut, the dance, slamming the door in people's face. Man, a lot of this was Martin, like way before Martin. But anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. I'm gonna do some more shows, and if it's some things that you want me to cover, just let me know. Eclectic podcast. Like, yo, why don't you do a show on this? I'll probably do it if it's 70s, 80s, early 90s type thing. But I appreciate you listening. Subscribe if you haven't, or follow, or all of that craziness. Until the next time, appreciation.
Hello there. I'm your matchmaker, Chuck Furman, but my friends call me Chucky Baby. You must be Florence Johnston. How are you?
Single.
Oh, I know. It's an age-old problem.
Right. So could we get on with it before I age anymore?
All right, you just sit yourself right down there, be comfortable. Now, first thing I want to know is who Florence Johnston really is.
You want to see some ID?
No, I'm preparing a script for your taping, so I need to delve into your essence.
Watch it.
I want to know what your needs are, your desires.
Well, I need a husband because I desire a family.
A husband. We don't use the word husband around here.
But that's what I want.
Well, you know it, and I know it. But he doesn't have to know it. Now, suppose you tell me everything you did today before you came here.
Okay, well, I got up this morning and fixed Miss Jefferson some oatmeal.
Gourmet cook.
And then I washed the dishes.
Loves water sports.
Then I ran down to the store.
A jogger.
I got on the bus, transferred twice, and here I am.
Travels extensively. Hey, I think we're really rolling here. Now, You just look over your script while I prepare for the taping, okay? Ms. Johnston, just one more little thing. That's not exactly the face I want.
Yours ain't exactly the one I want either.
No. What I mean is, I'd like you to change your expression. You know, something to draw men to you. Give me that "come take me, I'm yours" stare. Hmm?
Don't put your hands on me.
Miss Johnson, really, I'm only trying to help. I mean, you do want a husband and a family, don't you?
Right.
Well, then, trust Chucky baby. We have to get someone interested in you. Now, you just make yourself comfortable, okay? Good. Now, you just look into this camera, read those lines, and go for it. Ready?
Okay. Hello. My name is Flo, as in go with the flow. I'm a gourmet cook. I love water sports. I jogged, and I've traveled extensively. I was first runner-up in the Lola Falana look-alike contest. Did I say runner-up? Shoot. I won.